Existential level thinking is thinking about existence on the highest levels possible. It is a type of thinking that allows us to tap into the mystery of existence. It's the type of thinking needed, the type of scaling needed to understand and integrate life's largest mysteries and biggest unanswered questions. Now, a lot of times people assume that existential level thinking is something that they are not, that's not something that's really needed for their own life, because it doesn't really help us pay our electricity bills. It doesn't really let us or allow us to fit in with our friend group, with our coworkers, with our family. And to that, I would say, yes, that's true. Existential level thinking typically does not apply to those types of circumstances. And what this can end up doing is create a sort of a dissonance from the fact that even though we are existence and we have the capabilities of questioning our own existence as existence, even though we have all of that, it doesn't always mean that it's going to be useful with those particular life circumstances. However, this is the key here. Existential level thinking is the tool needed to understand what the meaning of life is. It's the tool needed to understand what passion is, what purpose is, what emotions are, what our authentic drives are. And I would go as far as to say that like those types of topics are actually very important for your life, extremely important for your life. And to apply existential level thinking to those topics is to increase your understanding of what it means to, for example, have a purpose-filled life, to live a meaningful life, to live a happy life. When we get our thinking on this scale, when we get our thinking to the existential level, it allows us to examine anything and everything that might be existing, because anything and everything that is existing has an existential nature in and of itself. So, in order to understand life's greatest mysteries, like what is the meaning of life, what am I doing here, am I going to die, like where am I going to go after I die, anything in between, everything in between, just the mystery of form itself. Why is there something rather than nothing? Why is there something rather than nothing? When you start to question these, what ends up happening is that you will build, believe it or not, you will build a greater understanding of these topics, and eventually it's going to permeate into your life and subtly transform the way you're experiencing and perceiving the world at large. Because as you continue to existentially wonder and existentially think over and over and over again, your understanding of life is going to increase as a result. And as it increases, the way in which you relate to everything begins to shift as well. The reason for this is that thinking on this level is the highest order of magnitude possible when it comes to thoughts. And so that's what I mean when I mean existential thinking. I mean thinking that is so big, that is so all-encapsulating, it's existential, that no subtopic within existence can escape its scope of inquiry and wonder when it comes to that type of thinking. As that understanding permeates across your life, it's going to transform the way that you relate to everything. As you understand what the existential nature of society is, of your relationships, of your emotions, of yourself, there are going to be ramifications, because believe it or not, we're already, all of us are operating throughout life with our own existential assumptions, because the way in which we hold, for example, let's take society, the way in which we hold society is going to directly affect the way that society affects our emotions or affects our fulfillment in life. For example, if I hold society as being the most meaningful aspect of existence, then how I fit in is going to be directly related to that idea of society is really important. So it's very critical to understand that as we investigate all these different topics from this absolute level of existentialism, it by default is going to help us with our understanding. Now, I want everyone watching this video to be careful, because a lot of times we think that we are not actually able to come up with any sort of answers or understanding when we ask questions like this. You know, like, okay, well, what is existence? We might ask that and immediately think like, oh, you know, well, I don't know what existence is, and there's no way that I could know what existence is, so I'm just not going to ask the question, what is existence? And although that is an option, I would counter that and say that you can, in fact, know what existence is. You can, in fact, understand, maybe not fully, but you can have a higher understanding of what existence is than you do right now. Because existence is literally existing. I mean, seriously. If you just like look at your hand, for example, or look at the wall, or look at your computer screen or your keyboard or your phone, like, what is that? What is that? What is existence? And what begins to happen as we continually get into that headspace and get into that type of questioning and thinking, a type of bliss and beauty begins to arise that is intrinsically woven into the actual fabric of existence, at least for our human lives. And I stand by that statement. I stand by that statement. In order to reach life's highest potential, in order to get to life, to understand life fully and to get the beauty of it, to get the bliss of it, it starts by understanding what life is existentially. And when you can understand that, then the doorways into real beauty, love, purpose, passion, all of it begins to open up in a different type of way. So my vote is to go out and start thinking about things existentially. You would be amazed what spending just like 1 hour alone by yourself, just out in nature, out somewhere isolated, and just start asking questions about your life. You would be amazed at the type of transformation that you could have from just the simple act of getting in touch with your existential nature, getting in touch with your individual life on this planet, and asking questions, you know, like, what am I here to do? Like, what am I actually here to do? What are my greatest strengths? How am I existing as an individual? What does it mean to be an individual? Like, all of it. When you start asking those questions, you'd be amazed at the types of new perspectives that you might stumble into if you just take the time to actually go and do it. And so, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I really think that this level of thinking, it has benefits beyond just the bliss and the wonder that result from it, because it really allows you to transform the way you relate to life as a whole. And there's so much to life. There's so much to life. There's so much to existence. And being able to understand that existence, being able to understand it, not conceptually with the mind, but more intuitively and holistically with consciousness, that allows you to really tap into the mystery that is existence. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you liked the video. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you like the style of content, hit the subscribe button. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Until next time.